Hey, Dental Nachos crew, it is Paul, Dr. Nacho. We're here with a business and leadership toppings session. What we are here to talk about is this guy that I drew, how to develop your dental core. So you do not do what dentists do all the time, cry on the inside. So we have core development toppings, sponsors, key resources, people in our industry that can help you. My first guest is the awesome Dan Bauer of Avitas. So Dan, in person, see all these things are shut down. So we're going to kind of channel. We were walking around an exhibit and I walked up to you and I said, hey, what do you do and how you help dentists? Tell our audience about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're Avitas Dental. We help dental on their billing headaches, simply put, whether it's just helping maximize their collections, if they're maybe missing on some of the production that they're having, or they have some turnover within their staff and they need someone to kind of fill that gap. Will they find them? We just handle the billing headaches from A to Z or wherever they want us to fit in for them.
And I'm going to bring up one of my best props because this is how billing makes you feel on the inside each day, like Mr. Grumbly. It's never right. There's always a problem. So outsource your annoyance. So Dan, I talk about AAJM, awareness, attention, just find out, momentum. So someone's watching this now, or like 2 million people watch it tomorrow. It's going to go viral. I don't know what that means, but I hope it does. And they say, I'm aware that I have a billing headache. I see that Avitas can help me. How do they find out more about you? And what does it look like to move forward with momentum and working with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, they can find us on our website, or I can drop my information in the chat here, or you can find us on the Facebook page, of course. Our process is pretty simple. We want to just kind of get to know your practice a little bit more, kind of dive in from a financial analysis standpoint, and then walk away knowing that, hey, if this is going to be a good fit or not. Basically, if our investment is going to help you increase your revenue, or if it's going to be a cost to your bottom line, and we kind of look like an employee upon your staff. But ultimately, we want to get into your books and just see where some of those gaps are and how we can help you out.
And it's so key. I didn't really know. I've been a dentist for 18 years, practicing for 15 years. I didn't know services like yours even existed until a couple of years ago. We utilize a service like this. We would never not use it because stuff that shows up on the stat sheet, increasing your revenue, what doesn't show up is helping your staff be less annoyed each day. So help your team with some of these things that they don't want to do. We also have a text code. We can take out your best friend. I brought one of my best friends here. It's my phone. We all love our phones. You can text Avitas, AIVITUS, to 215-543-6454. Now, I'm a big fan of, Dan, before I jump off, the story is the star. Could you share a story with our audience of a multi-location practice, one dentist that, wasn't so sure if they want to use you, dentists, they're not easy to move forward. And now they're like, I'm so glad I did this. What kind of impact did that have for them?
Yeah. I can think of a dentist that we have up in Maine who was already very strong in the collections world. They collect at about 98% of what they produced. But the gal on their staff who had been with them for about 25 years, just didn't want to do that anymore. Their practice was growing extremely quickly. So they needed her on other functions of the practice, but they also didn't want that production to stop. They needed to maintain that revenue stream. So they partnered with us. We're now collecting that for them at 100%. They brought on 2 new associates, 4 hygienists, built a brand new practice, all within the last year and a half. They had their best year during COVID. So we play a small part in that, of course, not the entire thing, but just being able to maintain that for them was a big help for them.
Everyone on part of the team matters. I mean, look at the field goal kicker in football. They got to come in and do their job, and that's what you guys do. But one of the things you said before you jump off, and I'm a practice owner, I was at my practice for the past 2 days, when you can give your team members more time to spend with the patient, that's magic, because it makes the patient feel like you're developing a relationship with them. You can ask questions, and it lets your team member be free of other annoyances. So Dan, thanks for kicking us off here. We really appreciate it. One more time, text Avitas, AIVITUS, to 215-543-6454. And one more time, what's the best website for people to reach out to?
It's avitasdental.com.
Awesome, Dan. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, Dr. Nacho. See ya.
So what we're doing here is we're just layering in toppings, because a real game, dreams don't always come true. For me, they did not. I wanted to be a professional basketball player. This is my daughter's basketball. I can't palm a real basketball, but dribbling, shooting, passing is all part of the same game. So now we talk about billing, and now we're going to shift to a clinical thing, dentists with lasers on their head. So Doug, share with us how you can help dentists get lasers on their head, like from one of my favorite movies, Austin Powers.
That's funny. I just watched that with my teenagers the other night. They didn't get it. So not like I did. So how do dentists learn about Celea? They just sit down and meet with us. You talked about just find out. A lot of people don't know what lasers do and how they can work. And so they don't take the meeting because they're skeptical. Our dentists are reliably eliminating anesthesia. They're doing soft tissue without bleeding, and they're completely changing the dental experience. Take the time to schedule a lunch with one of our reps. We'll come in and talk about it, see how it fits in your practice. That's free and easy. Why wouldn't you take the meeting and learn what it can do for you?
I like that. And to reach out to you guys, you can text Soleil to 55444. Doug, you said skeptical dentist. I don't believe that. I've never heard that. I've never seen a skeptical dentist. Like a grandmother in their basement. Everyone's out to get me. But I've met, one of the things that I love to do is meet people face to face, but the pandemic has hampered that. But I met Dr. Perry, Dr. Bullwinkle, two of your key opinion leaders, and I've been motivated to find out more about it because it decreases annoyance by maybe not having to anesthetize your patient, doing simple things like class ones with the laser. I know, when they ask you about your phone, they want to show you all the fun features, but I'm like, where's the text feature and the alarm for me to wake up in the morning? So with the Celea laser, if there's a dentist thinking about that, what are some of the things it can replace in their everyday routine dentistry or augment?
Well, we're well over 90% anesthesia free for every cavity prep. So we're going to replace the shot, the drill, and the numb lip for the vast majority of cavity preps. Depth doesn't matter. Location, classification does not matter. We're going to be well over 90% anesthesia free. So replacing some of those things, it's probably not going to replace them completely. They are going to be used a lot less.
That's great. And also one of the things, I have a 2-year-old that lives in my home. Some people call it a child, but I have one of those, and we always have to have wipes around, right? We need to be wiping stuff, getting stuff on furniture. And one of the things I think as a dentist, you always need to stop bleeding in these little places, right? Whether before you take an impression, stage 2 surgery is so valuable. During the pandemic, you think our patients would have had time to floss a few times. They did not. They did not
Right.
do that. So you're doing a class 2 composite. You put your band in, your ring thing, it starts bleeding. So using the laser can help that. I love that. A story for you, we'll use this theme of the story is the star. Think of one of your clients or one of your dentists who might have been skeptical, and now they're going, as the kids say, hog wild with the laser. Tell me about a dentist like that.
Well, it's interesting. We just launched an application for treating snoring. It's a 5-minute procedure. It's fast, it's easy, it pays very well, and it relieves snoring in one procedure. I was talking to a doctor in Minnesota. He said, yeah, I might be able to do one of those a month. And he's actually, since he's implemented it, he's doing one of those a day.
That's awesome.
So for 5 minutes of procedure time, and patients love it. They tell their friends about it. Gets husbands back in the bed, as compared to sleeping on the couch, and a lot fewer jabs in the ribs.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
When they're snoring at night.
That impact is on the spouse getting a good night's sleep. So, whether you're outsourcing your billing annoyance or doing that, that's awesome. So we have your text code of text Celea to 55444 to learn more. But if someone's watching this, one of the 2 or 3 million people by tomorrow watching this, they wanted to visit you guys online, how could they do so?
Convergentdental.com. And you can also ask your Henry Schein rep to schedule a meeting with our local representation. Okay.
Awesome. Love that, Doug. Thanks for being part of the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. So we now have billing, outsource your billing annoyance, lasers to help your everyday practice. I'm ready for our next guest here. I have my whole lineup here. Awesome. And Amanda, just remind me who we're doing next. I have it out of order.
We have Steven next, Paul.
Steven, awesome. Okay, great.
Hello.
Steven is here, and he's a brand new guest to Spicy Toppings and Business Leader Topping. Tell us what you do, Steven, to help dentists decrease annoyance and increase their happiness level.
Hey there. So first I wanted to say thank you for having me on, and I hope things are staying spicy in Nacho land.
They're quite spicy, yes. New adventure, right? You're home so often, something new happens every day. You wouldn't think so, but yes, it is. But thanks. We're glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. So I am actually maybe a slightly less conventional guest. I am an infection preventionist,
Nice.
senior level IP for a healthcare system. And really just as far as like getting dentists to be better people, as far as like professionalism and leaders, I don't really have a business. I just came to kind of more of like a public service announcement.
Sure, that's great. We like that. Dennis can use PSA, to help us cry less on the inside, Stephen. That's one of our things, right? Your amazing team, they're fighting over who took the last box of lidocaine. They're amazing, but they're arguing. So give us an example of like, who would you work with in the dental space?
Sure. So I have a friend who's a RDH, and one time several years back, she saw a patient who had pink eye, and 2 days later, she got raging pink eye. And I was like, she told me about this, and I was like, I'm an infection control expert. I should be able to somehow help her. Like, I've created training for people. I've got stuff on like how to select products. I've got stuff on like the psychology of infection prevention. I was like, well, why don't I create something for her just to have as far as like clinics, infection prevention for clinics. So I do have just a small training that I've developed, but and it's
That's
on
awesome.
it's on the.
I mean, I'm really into infection control almost as much as Nachos. Ariel works at my office. She knows that. I think it's like how you do this. It helps in so many ways, keeping the patient safe, systems, troubleshooting. But in all that, it's like there's always going to be episodes of some frustrating Nachos or challenging Nachos. If somebody wanted to reach out to you to learn more about how you could help them, whether it's just a friendly call, if you know a business, okay, how would they do that?
So I'm in the Facebook group, the Dental Nachos Facebook group. And I'm also, if you wanted to reach out to me, you can reach out to germs411@gmail.
That's a great email name. I like that. Germs411. I get it. I know the 411 area code. It's a very popular song back in my day. I don't know if the young people know it. Brandon Hill knows it, but yeah. So I like that. Germs411. You had to call it 411 to get someone's number. Can you believe that, people? That was the whole thing, right?
Try to keep it easy.
I appreciate you sharing with us. I love your concept. I mean, that's so important, keeping people safe, but also helping the team understand how safety works, how to pick up, drop Nachos. Really appreciate it. Hang around for the rest of the show, Stephen, but thanks so much for being a part of this.
Sounds great. Glad to be a part. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen. All right, great. So now we've had talks about decreasing billing annoyance, lasers, how to stay important. Infection control was super important before a pandemic. It's been highlighted even more during the pandemic. Patients are asking more questions, so you want to train your team to answer that. So I am up next. So now our first fellow dentist on the show. He's really out-bearded me again. He's really one-up me on the beard, but my friend Darren, who's a practicing dentist and one of the founders of Modento. So Darren, tell us about your dental life a little bit, and also what Modento is doing to help dentists with their success in decreasing stress.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. We're, charging along at our office. Thankfully, we were able to stay ahead of things using some of our software and some of your other partners like LocalMed to continue to keep the schedule full. Haven't felt a lot of the pain points I know a lot of other dentists have. So hopefully they've taken advantage of, different sponsors and available tools to get them fully scheduled. At Modento, we're doing some cool stuff. We specifically are rolling out what's called our live ops, where you can really visualize the patient flow through your practice as it's happening and control that in kind of a parallel schedule to your practice management schedule. And it flows a lot more seamlessly and utilizes our software in the process to send forms, to send treatment plans, and really, be able to utilize the patient flow rather than just clicking a couple things, changing statuses.
I like that, Darren. Part of me feels, I'm a little older than you, but in my practice, I could just sense there was bottlenecks. Now you can show me like ways with traffic. I'm in traffic, tell me how bad it is. But, all kidding aside, that's such a valuable feature to the everyday game-like nature of being a dentist. I think that's the one thing it's hard for dental students, residents, people to understand until you're running and working in a private practice to see the pace and the challenges and the unexpected things that pop up, and how one thing, someone not filling out their form, can throw an entire hygiene department behind, something you wouldn't have thought of in dental school. So that's an awesome feature from Modento. If someone was just hearing about you for the first time, seeing your beard for the first time, lucky them, what are two things that Modento does that just helps with everyday stress reduction or success enhancement?
Yeah, so there's two really big things. Once you get the patient in your practice management software, we take over. We start to communicate with the patient, ask them for relevant forms, insurance information, contact info. We'll gather all that for you and write it into your practice management. So as long as you capture one little piece, a name and a phone number, we take over and fill out the rest for you, or in conjunction with the patient doing it for you. And secondly, everything we do kind of piggybacking on that, everything we do can be touchless. So whether it's questionnaires, forms, consents, treatment plans, we can send it internally to your own device, like an iPad, or you can send it to the patient's own device, like their phone, computer, anything. So when everybody's trying to keep their distance and have that seamless communication process at the same time, there can be quite a few roadblocks, but when we can send it wherever we want, anytime, and have the patient control what's in front of them and what they're touching, people are really, taking advantage of that and loving it.
I love that. And, I'm such a fan, as everyone always does, building relationships, and building relationships now during a pandemic is different than it was before. You have to do it in a virtual way. So just all the things you talked about getting messages prior to the appointment, filling things out, you're starting to build relationships with these patients, and they feel bonded to you. We're going to have the awesome Shane Simmons on later, where we just talk about, people meeting you before they go to the practice is so valuable. Even just seeing your face and knowing that's the guy from the website, that's the guy from this thing. So I think that's awesome, Darren. I know last time you were going to go place an implant after this. What are you doing next after our show today?
I have to go finish printing some ortho models for some clear aligners that we're doing.
Look at you, a jack of all dentistry trades, Darren. Very impressive. To reach out to Modento through us and get one of their Nacho deals, you can text Modento to 215-543-6454. But Darren, if somebody wanted to reach out to you for Modento or beard growing tips, how could they do that?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm in your group. You can message me privately, or you can email me at darren@modento.io.
Perfect. And this is just a perfect example of why JFO, just find out, is so important. Dentist, you're working in your practice. I was there for the last 2 days. There's so many moving parts and pieces when you can just control things through technology. There's things I'm using, like this always happens, Darren. I mean, you're not that much young. You're like, I can't imagine not practicing without local med, but I did for like 16 years, right? I can't imagine not having an Uber, but I did just stand on the street waving down cabs for a while. So you just make your practice life less stressful, more successful. Thanks for sharing, Darren, and good luck with those ortho models.
All right, thanks.
Awesome. So just roll along here, sharing so much value, learning about things that you can just find out about, get free consultation, take demos, outsource some of that to your office manager to do as well. So we're ready to bring up our next guest here. I believe we're going to have Linda next. Is that correct, Ariel? And awesome, Linda. So Linda talks about, Linda kindly named a whole kit after Dental Nachos, the JVN Hygiene Kit. I love what PDT does. I love the concept of their company and what they do to help dentists. I'll let Linda take it away. Linda, just if someone's watching this for the first time, orient them to as what does PDT do and how do you help dentists?
Sounds great. Thank you, Paul, for having me on today. PDT is a family-owned business, just like many of you are. And do you spend time considering your comfort and longevity as a practitioner? When it comes to hand instruments, we take care of that for you. We observe and research clinician and patient needs in order to innovate and design the best instruments available. We have worked with orthopedic surgeons and physical therapists and dental clinicians to design and develop our products. And we found that weight's residual in your tendons and ligaments, as well as diameter of the handles, is so important. And so PDT developed a solid thermal resin handle that's very tactile sensitive as well. And it also is only 13 grams in weight. So it provides the best weight and neural design for
that's awesome.
Grip and such. And right now that's really important because people are trying to cut down on aerosol. So there's a lot more hand instrument use out there. And so that gives you less fatigue in your hands.
I think what you guys do is a couple of things I want to highlight. A, I love that you named one kit, the JVN Hygiene Kit. I know we're going to talk about your deal, but one of the things that I do in my office, it drives me nacho nuts when we have to sterilize something we know we're going to use. And when there's something that you can buy and use over and over again. So at the start of every hygiene day, it's required that the hygienists have all the kits they need to get through the day without sterilizing one instrument. If you don't do that, I truly think you're nacho nuts. You can still be my friend. They're seeing 8 hygiene patients. Get them 8 kits. So if the sterilizer breaks down, if your roving dental assistant isn't there, if they have to run up. So we have the JVN Hygiene Kit. And what is the Montana Jack is one of the most popular ones. I love that name. It's a great name. So you have the JVN Hygiene Kit. What is the deal that you guys have for the nacho audience now if they were to order through PDT before the end of the year to get their hygienist set up?
Well, the JBN Nacho Kit is a great hygiene perio kit that was designed by Paul and his lead hygienist.
I don't know the names of the instruments. A Gracie 13, 14, that was it. So she picked her favorite ones.
Great, great. Well, so this can come in a cassette, and this is $359 for the whole kit, which is amazing. And you also get a free composite instrument that is a non-stick instrument. And through the end of the year, we're going to throw in 2 composite instruments so that you can have 2 different designs that work very, very well. Again, this ergonomic handle design. One thing that people don't think about is how many people still have that old octagon handle, mirror handle in their practices too. I mean, that's crazy. It never dies, so you never think, hey, I should throw that out. But your hand might die.
I love that, Linda, because this whole time's been challenging on all of us, hygienists included. They've had to deal with some stuff. So get them some stuff that makes it more comfortable. Get yourself set for the end of the year. They got a great deal. Also, we're going to have 2 of my favorite CPAs on later. And I don't want to steal their thunder, but it's probably good to get it so that you can write it off for your taxes. How does that work? I don't know, but they're the ones writing it off. That's a Seinfeld joke. I don't know if you're allowed to just say jokes on other shows, but it is a good time to get yourself ready and hopefully decrease your tax bill. Ask Bill and Jared about it. It's a great time to buy stuff. There's not going to be virtual conventions this year. I mean, there's going to be virtual conventions, no in-person conventions, Linda, this year, which is usually the time the dentists stock up. Have you found that usually at the end of the year for PDT?
Yes, we have. And also, it's a really good time of year to buy this for your practice, but give it to your hygienist as a present in the practice. You know, Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving, I think a time to show, hey, I'm thankful for you and all the efforts that you put in, and remember yourself too. Yeah,
well, you get a composite instrument. It's like, I wish every gift I bought for my daughters came with a free glass of wine. I would buy more gifts. So my favorite composite instrument, I don't know if you guys are ready, one with one of the ends not broken off. That's one of my favorite ones. So that's why you can never have too many hygiene instruments, can never have too many composite instruments. To get connected with your awesome deal, text Nacho Kit to 215-543-6454. And how can they visit you directly, Linda, to learn more about it?
pdtdental.com is our website. And actually, my email address is linda.miller@pdtdental.com, or we have customer.care@pdtdental.com. And I'll put our 800 number in the notes too, in the chat.
Perfect.
Yeah,
awesome.
Great. And
thank you. Excited for an fun end of the year with PDT. Get our own kits stocked up. Everyone can have JBN hygiene kits all throughout their practice. And before we jump off, is there anything else you wanted to add, Linda?
You know, ergonomics, comfort, and career longevity. That's what we shoot for you.
For sure.
We're here to help you. We're a Montana company, and I've got a whole team here ready to serve you.
Awesome. I love it, Linda. Thanks for being such an awesome sponsor and friend of the group. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul.
Awesome. So we've gone through technology, lasers, practice management, communication. Our next awesome guest coming up here makes one of my favorite products on earth. So here, I should get a whole outfit of this guy to represent Alginate. Okay, so when I started in practice, everything that matters needs a system, everything matters. I was a restaurant server for 10 years. Love Setting the Table by Danny Meyer, the book. Love Steven Starr and his group. So customer and patient service was super important to me. So I want to take a minute to walk you through what Alginate does. It's the opposite of that. You take an Alginate, okay? What kind of bowl do you use? The dirtiest bowl in the office. How cold is the water? It's freezing cold, okay? Once you take it, you can't just let it sit there and relax. You have to rush it back to some lab like a NASCAR driver. Does the vibrator work? Sounds weird just to say that, but it probably doesn't. Your assistant, if they don't forget to pour it up, they pour it up, but sometimes people forget to get it at the end, or they drop it on the floor and it breaks. So this is well before Keaton-Bach time. I purchased once 500 cartridges of inexpensive PVS from a lab going out of business because I said, as a dentist, I don't want to have any customer service problems. I don't want to call a patient back, have them come back in for their night guard. I don't want to annoy my assistant midday to pour model, or myself, worse myself. That's not going to be good. The lab does a better job. So that's the setup. Dan Perler from Keaton-Bach, a great friend and sponsor. Dan, share with us what Keaton-Bach makes, including my product, and what you guys do to help dentists.
Once again, thank you for giving me my presentation, Dr. Nachos. You did a great job. You are hired.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I work for those Matchbox cards you sent. I got one over here on the side, so yeah.
Seriously, yes, Dan Perilli with Kettenbach. I'm the general manager and very happy to join everybody here today. Silginate is, of course, the product that Dr. Nacho has been talking about. It is a practice saver in so many different ways, and get rid of the dust in your office from alginate, get rid of the dust from stone from your office. It makes a cleaner environment. You can use Silginate impressions for anything from a counter impression or preliminary impression to using it for a retainer impression. As a matter of fact, you know what children do to their retainers. Yeah. At the very least, they lose them, but they do other things.
What I want to say, Dan, is I've called, when lecturing in person was legal, it will be one day, I would call, this was way back in the day with Kettenbach, I would call Silginate the gateway decision to better dental decisions. You use this, you try it. So you've made my dream come true, not the dunking and the NBA part. That's not happening. But now, tell us a little more about, we have a buying group with Dental Nachos. We had dentists saying you're giving awesome pricing. I know you're doing the machine thing. What's the current opportunity? Our team can share the buying group, but tell them more about that, because we also use Panicil and some of your other products.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for you to get the very best pricing without having to buy a truckload. Simply, no matter the size of your practice, if you buy one, you buy two, you buy 12, you get the same very low price, essentially a 40% discount off of the normal suggested retail. And it covers all of our product lines. So whether it's an impression material like Panicil or Idenium, or a temporary material like our Visalis Temp, or our newest adhesive resin material, Semcor, which simplifies. I'm going to borrow something from Linda here. She had props, so I brought my props.
I like the props, nice.
Here, very simply, you can see three components here. These three components will do everything you need for your adhesive dentistry. And it works on all substrates, whether it be a metal substrate or ceramic. And of course, your tooth primer, and then of course the medium for cementation. All of it there. Normally $170 for that intro pack that I just showed you, but for Dental Nachos people, just simply say Dental Nachos when you call us. It's $120. $120.
That's awesome. That's my goal in life. I'm just running around saying Dental Nachos. I don't know, maybe then. But Dan, also, so you guys have been an awesome sponsor group, awesome sponsor of me. But you might be asking, what does it cost you, the dentist, to be part of the buying group? Good question. It's free for you. So
nothing.
Medium practice owner friends, Dan, tell me a little more about this. It's live TV. There's no net. He had to order so much. He said, Paul, you got such a good deal for us. What do they have to order to get the machine? Because he said he was having a hard time ordering enough, but he finally got there because he said the deal was so good.
You just simply have to buy products. So you buy $1,200 worth of product, you get the machine free.
Everybody always needs those extra machines. I was just at my office yesterday with my Silginate machine. I moved from the guns to the machine, save even more money now. So everybody always needs extra machines. So to reach out to Kettenbach and find out, you just text buying to 55444 and we will send you back how you can do that. Our team will also drop that in the chat. Dan, I love what you do. You've got a great attitude. Dan did send me free Matchbox cars for my awesome daughter, which she loves because I said I get paid in cars. One day it'll be a grown-up car, maybe like in 2030 or something, Dan.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks so much for being you. We really appreciate it.
All right. Have a great day, everyone.
Awesome, guys. So we're just moving along here with our awesome toppings. As you can see, this is what dentisting is like, putting all these toppings together. from Modentos to products, to lasers, to billing, to all these things you have to put together. I'm going to welcome to Business Leadership Topping, someone who's been on our shows a number of times, Shane Simmons. He's got an awesome vibe, an awesome company. Shane, share with our group what you do to make dentists happier on a daily basis.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Paul. And, here at Crimson Media, which is our company, we just try to make dentists' life easier by having them not have to worry about where their next patient's going to come from. So, this has been obviously a very unique year for everybody. And I'm really happy to say that, clients that have been working with us for, several months have really not seen too big of a dip, which has been really something that's nice to say. In fact, I was having a conversation a couple of weeks ago with one of our docs, and she said, for the first time in years, our October hasn't been a Sucktober. So I think that that's something that we always need to be thinking about is our marketing and where are our patients coming from. And that's something that here at Crimson Media, we help you do. We get your online presence right. And any type of new patient that you're trying to attract, whether it's filling up hygiene, whether it's the implant side of your practice, emergency dentistry, we help fill the chairs up.
I love this. It's just this morning on my dad walk, I was listening to a great podcast by Seth Godin. You got to listen to it. It's Akimbo. I think it was the Zoom one. And it talked about getting better clients, right? How to be more successful by getting better clients. So marketing is awesome what you do. But if you're like, hey, Paul, you can market with me and I'll get you a lot of class 3 and class 2 composites. I'll be like, hey, Shane, I prefer if you didn't do that. I have enough annoyance on my existing patients. But if you say I can bring you implant overdentures, life-changing cases, sleep apnea. So just share for a learning-based thing. And I want to share that people can reach out to you by texting Crimson to 55444 as an awesome key resource and sponsor. But just share with us what it means to get the dental patients you want and how that works.
Yeah, it's all about, what's the type of practice that you want to build and that you envision for yourself. So, do you want to maybe no longer be a high volume, heavy, PPO practice? Are you wanting to do, bigger cases, more, fee for service type patients, whatever it may be? We're going to help you kind of find out what your goal is overall, and then structure a marketing plan for you that, tailors to that specifically. So with Crimson Media and, our partnership with Dental Nachos, we've been, friends for a while now, Paul. We're not a cookie cutter, template type marketing company where, you have to do it this way or you have to do it this way. We really learn about the type of practice that you're wanting to build, the type of patient that you're wanting to serve. And we craft our messaging and our storytelling around that particular type of procedure, patient. And then ultimately what we do is help distribute that message for you in a way that can connect with the patient, connect with the community, and ultimately bridge that gap from where you're currently at to where you're wanting to go in the future.
And I love all this. And one of the things I've shared, I'm a medium-aged person, billboards were a thing. It's like, this is an opportunity to let people know you do this stuff. And they might not come tomorrow. They might come the next month. They might come in a year. They may tell their friend, hey, I saw Pennington Dental Associates does implants or sleep apnea. Sharing your story online is so critical. It's being the soccer coach of the 1980s, like my dad was. There was no Google in the 1980s, so they would encourage dentists to coach soccer teams to get out their name out there. That was an awesome way to do it. Wow. But what, you can meet 30 or 40 people through what you do, Shane. Facebook ads and Google, how many people can you put your practice in front of in a month through advertising? Thousands?
Oh my gosh, thousands. So, average client with the kind of the average ad spend, can put themselves in front of 15 to 25,000 people every single month. And that's something that you can measure today with, just the way that tracking is. You can actually measure the people who are following your ads or your content or have engaged with it. And then you can start putting specific offers and specific pieces of content in front of those individuals. And so what you really do, it's almost like you build your own custom audience, which is really cool. And is something that we couldn't do, 10 years ago that now we have at our fingertips. And the crazy thing about it, Paul, and this is, I'd say 95% of dental offices aren't taking advantage of this type of marketing. And so it's something that when you get in now, as Gary Vee always says, get in before the big wave comes. You got to get in now so that way you can start to develop and create that type of audience before it becomes super saturated.
Underpriced attention, like Gary Vee says, and over-deliver value. It's what I try to do all the time. In the past 2 days, Shane, my office has been like 11 out of 10 stress and annoyance. But I did get one patient to say yes to a $25,000 implant case. And I remember that. And it's not about the money. You guys think it's part of the production, but it's also just the feeling that, you get to start this journey to impact the patient. They're going to come and do this. And yes, if we're there, you need to make as much money as possible in a responsible way, because you have to pay your hygienist, pay your team, get supplies. So that's why it brings all together and builds your core. And Shane can help you do just that. So Shane, how can people reach out to you directly if they want to learn more about what you do?
Absolutely. You can go to our website, which is crimsonmediagroup.com. That's a great way to get in contact with us. You can fill out a form or call us there, or you can reach out to me here throughout the Dental Nachos Facebook group, Shane Simmons. You just find my profile, send me a direct message, and be happy to connect with you and see if we may be a good fit to help your dental practice and make dentistry less stressful.
For sure. That's what we're trying to do. Thanks, Shane, for being an awesome sponsor, friend, and resource. Text Crimson to 55444. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Now, our next guest coming up, they talk about our favorite thing, money, where money's very important. Before I met these guys, I was only writing off 62% of stuff. Now, since I've met them, I'm writing off 82% of stuff. No idea what that means, but they're going to tell us. So Bill and Jared, awesome dental-focused CPAs, have been on our show many times, but let's just say it's the first person watching. Just take a minute and tell us what you guys do on a day-to-day basis to work with dentists, increase their success, and decrease stress.
Yeah, so for those who do not know us, my name's Bill Ladd. This is Jared. We are dental-focused CPAs that kind of look at every practice owner as being on a entrepreneurial journey, and every journey has a starting point and an ending point. We personally have articulated out what we would call 6 phases of that journey. And, kind of starting from when you have that entrepreneurial bent all the way till when you kind of hit your end game and you're ready to move on to your next. So we build out products, service offerings, and content to try and help dentists, no matter what phase they're in, graduate to that next phase and ultimately move on to the next in their life and hopefully enjoy life post dentistry.
I love that, Bill. And Jared, I'm going to go to you because we've gotten so much great content. So I have actually a real question. So I joke about nachos, but I don't eat them as much as people think. They always say, because I know you eat nachos all the time. That's going to be pretty terrible for your health, right? It's just not a good thing. So with money, where do you see, because you're working with dentists, where is this missing piece? Do they never learn about it? Do they think they know more than they do? Are they just totally unaware, a combo of that? Because, people want to buy a practice. They're into that part, but they don't really know how the money works within that practice. Share with our audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's more of just, dentists coming out of college, or dental school, just haven't learned the business of dentistry and how it works. And you've really got to jump in and understand. That's what I talk to our clients all the time. You need to know what levers in your business you can pull to increase profitability, and where stuff's off and where diagnose your practice to see what's wrong. And really just jump in and find out how you can make that practice better. And it's all about knowing your numbers. A lot of dentists we talk to, they say, hey, I don't really know my numbers. Somebody else takes care of that. Well, that's fine. Somebody else can take care of that, but you need to be looking at that every single month to figure out how your practice is doing.
And I think of it like when I annoy myself and use like one of those calorie tracking apps. I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know if I want to put this in. I'm just lying to my own app. I'm lying to myself. But you guys do this for practices. Because dentists can feel busy and feel like they're successful. They may say at the end of the year, Bill, my bottom line, my profits, where do you find some missed nachos there? And how do you guys help them capture more of that bottom line?
So, with us, it's pretty easy, just a quick analysis. We can usually tell if people are on track or off track. And, when we bring it to their attention, it's funny. Doc Nacho, most people know exactly what's going on, and almost entirely it's sitting in something to do with your staffing. There's some disconnect between the staffing you got, the production that they're doing. It just doesn't fall into line. And again, when these things are brought up in a system of monthly accountability, which is how we operate, at some point, you can't stick your head in the sand anymore. You have to address problems and try to fix things that are broken. So that tends to be where we see it. A lot of it is just people not setting the right parameters, not setting the right key result areas for their people, and not holding them accountable to the results. And usually when those things kind of start falling in line, it's amazing. Profitability falls in line, and the doctor's mentality and excitement and energy kind of starts to fall back in line as well.
I think that's so key. And it's also just run yourself through this program of, it could be a variety of things, but dental focused accounting. how are my numbers? Nothing bad can happen. What if you said, like, I went to the gym, like, you're in the best shape of any 43-year-old I've ever seen? That might be a lie, but they either say, you're doing awesome, tweak this, or we have a lot of things to work on. But imagine if you could show you a personal life of not working an extra minute, but adding even just $50,000 at bottom line. Do you have clients like that, Jared, who you guys have walked through that?
Yeah, exactly. And you're exactly right. I mean, we might, talk to a dentist listening today and we look at your profit and loss statement and, how everything's looking. It's like, hey, you're in the great shape, best shape of your life. Your practice is dialed in. So there's maybe not much we can help you on. But a lot of practices we dive into, and Bill said it, is a lot of it is that team member compensation. Right. It's extremely high. And then once you start talking to them, typically the answer is, yeah, we know, but they've been here forever. It just, we're not going to touch that. And that's fine if that's your decision not to make a decision, but it's not going to increase your bottom line unless you start making those tough decisions in your.
And I want to talk with you guys more about this, Peter, because you just said something I thought of. Dentists have a real challenge managing conflict. And that's all about conflict. So we have things in our practice, we don't do it perfectly, but people top out at a certain rate and they have to get bonuses on top of that. They don't get just raises because you just can't run a practice like that. I've said to dental assistants who are awesome people, you may want to become a hygienist now because you may want to make more money by becoming a hygienist. Hygienist to become dentist, but I'm sharing the awareness of there can't just be an unlimited amount of growth in a position. So I think that's, we should talk about that, how to manage conflict at a future one. You guys have shared so much value. How can the group reach out to you guys directly to do a JFO? Just find out, call whether they're a practice owner or thinking about it. So how you guys can help them.
So real quick, can I answer your,
sure.
Can I give a comment to your point there about accountability? This was actually on a post. It may have been in Dental Nachos. I can't remember, but we're big believers in set key result areas for your people. Have them accountable to some numbers and some goals and their core values. And if they are not falling short of those, that's not a hard accountability item. It's a very simple, objective discussion. You're falling short here, and here's how we see it. We don't think it has to be as tough as people make it, but you have to be very clear on your expectations and what you are as a practice. So that's just an aside. That's kind of where me on my soapbox. You can find us on www.ducketlad.com. That's the easiest place to find us. We do have a podcast, the Duckett Lad Dental Momentum podcast. Doc Nacho, you've been on there.
Yeah,
we loved having you on there. So follow us on that. We're trying to put out good content. Would love to, keep building our audience so we can keep trying to have more impact out there in the community.
You guys are all
real quick. I'll jump in there, Doc Nacho. If ABC, always be connecting. You say that all the time. And so like Bill said, we work with dentists all along the journey from day one to D1. We stole that from you, Doc Nacho, all the way to retiring and selling your practice. So anywhere there, if you're not working with a dental focused CPA, reach out, just always be connecting, make a connection.
Get to know people who can help you before you need the acute help for a variety of reasons. So, we also can text CPA, we click CPA to 55444. You've already worked with Dental Nachos, helping them on their journey. We love having you in the group. You guys got a great humorous attitude and helping dentists as well. So really appreciate it. We'll talk about managing conflict on our next show.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Continue.
Take care.
So this has just been a fantastic show. Awesome lineup. A few more people here that we are going to connect with. Our next guest here is one of my favorite people in Dental Nachos, because he always says something so nice about the moderators when I post pictures about them. So that is an easy way to make me super happy. Kimberly Pedro, who helps dentists on so many levels. I'm going to let her start to share. Kimberly, what do you guys do at PDS to help dentists with their success and decrease stress?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I'm located here in Arizona, and I sell and repair dental equipment for the Metro Phoenix area, but I also sell certain technology through the United States. I try to partner with dentists and just look to give them a good product with great value, and I continue to offer education.
That's awesome. Now tell me, we've talked a lot about your CBCT, which we'll talk in a minute, but tell me a little bit about the equipment repair side. What are some things that are commonly, if you're not a practice owner, what are some things that are commonly broken that you guys help people with repairing instead of replacing?
A lot of times it can be the autoclave.
Yeah.
It just seems like the offices don't spend the time just cleaning the chamber and just taking care of it.
Yeah, I'm 0 for 100. Every time someone brings me something about the autoclave, not once has it been a good thing. Not like something about the autoclave. What is it working perfectly and doing it? Nope, it's making a weird steam thing. I go, okay, well, call someone help. So I think that's key that they have you as someone they can rely on. But you've been so helpful bringing in CE speakers on 3D technology. Share with us the machine that you're selling. I know you have some great pricing going on at the end of the year, and how people can learn more about that.
Sure, I sell the Prexion cone beam, and what I like about that cone beam is it has a full 10-year parts warranty. Right now, 5 years on labor. 0.3 for focal spot, great customer service. The machine just doesn't go in, it goes in, but you have continued support at no additional cost for as long as you have the machine.
That is awesome. And my dentist people, they like to do this thing. I call it, they like to ask questions about the question. What's your favorite color? What do you mean by color? Blue. What do you mean blue? So if they said to you, Kimberly, what if I don't know how to read these CBCTs? How can you help them with resources on that?
I can. I am actually offering free 8-hour CE from cone beam readers on how to actually read those.
And so that you have the whole package there. For people, you had a dental nacho or just install one of your machines in their office. They love working with you. Is there some good end of the year deals for people to reach out to you? I want to say, give your text number. You can text CBCT to 55444. We also have 2 amazing CE courses that we put together. Dr. Graham, Dr. Hartz were awesome that you've supported us on. But what's a reason for a dentist to reach out between now and the end of the year?
Extra pricing, perks, and benefits, especially Section 179. You can take that full amount off on your taxes. This is definitely the time to do it.
Part of life is sharing what you would do differently if you can go back in time, like Michael J. Fox from Back to the Future. So I would have wished we got a machine earlier. We used a lot of mobile CBCTs, which looking back, we didn't use it to the best of our ability. We used it for full arch cases. But now that we have one, let's say someone's saying, I don't want to buy one, Kim, I want to buy one. How can I afford it? What's the monthly financing number in general to get a CBCT in your office?
$900.
Yeah, and so if you're taking scans for anywhere between $200 to $400, you only have to take a few scans, and you'll find the way to use them. It's not just about implants. What are some other uses for it that you find your clients using besides implant dentistry, Kimberly?
Endo, just basic diagnosing. So some of the key opinion leaders say when you're looking 2D versus 3D, you're missing or misdiagnosing by 30% that you're just not seeing.
Yeah, and
that's a big number.
Yeah, and that's key. And Dr. Lou Graham's course, you can put in the chat how they can get that, was just phenomenal. He talked about how he uses it for new patient exams to do stuff. So love having you as part of this group, Kimberly. I know people can text CBCT to 55444, but how can they reach out to you directly to contact you?
Sure, they can reach out to me at kimberly@pdsaz.net. Call me anytime on my cell phone, 602-214-0001. I would like to say that I've been hearing a lot from your members that they're looking for laser. I've just taken on 2 new lasers, the Deca laser, which is a soft tissue laser, and the Somos laser, which is specific for pain and healing. So I'm real excited about that. Upcoming lives, we'll talk more about those. But if anyone's interested, reach out on that also.
Awesome, Kimberly. With text CBC to 55444. Thanks for all your nice comments about dentistry, being kind, the moderators, and technology. We really appreciate it.
Of course. Take care.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This has just been a fantastic show. We have 2 more awesome guests sharing great value. The next person coming up has been a true inspiration to me as a human being, because when I was a young dentist, I went to the Greater New York Dental Meeting. We're having a Dental Nachos networking extravaganza that week this year, where I saw live streaming of an extraction done in Utah while I was sitting in New York. And I thought this was the coolest thing ever. This was like back in 2005. So Dr. Carl Corner, when you're ready, you can start your video. I've had the pleasure of meeting Carl in person prior to the pandemic. We will meet again. They've been sharing so much with our members about hands-on extraction courses during a pandemic at home. They have great solutions. Carl, you've been on here numerous times. I love what you do. Thanks for being an inspiration. Share with us what you guys do to help dentists and what you have going on right now.
Well, Paul, it's really simple. When dental students graduate, they unfortunately don't have a lot of surgery experience in school. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is right now. But it's such a tremendous practice builder to be able to do surgery. And it's an income center as well. So what we do is we just try to help the general dentist be more comfortable with surgery, from using a scalpel to using a periosteal elevator, to be able to do surgical extractions that they feared beforehand and now don't. So it's just as simple as that. We just want to break it down into its parts. And then in our 2-day course, or one of our webinars or whatever, we just go through the points. It's like doing a veneer, you know, you go to a course and you're able to do it. It's similar. You just have to learn all those little points. And I have a prop too, and that's our model.
Nice.
So on this model, we've got a couple of surgical extractions. Maybe they don't look like they are, but they will become. I mean, what's that like, right? Every day.
It's an adventure. It's the extraction adventure. I mean, you guys should call it adventures in Carl Corner Extraction Land. You get more. You just had our associate who participated in your hands-on course and loved it. You know, he was in our office, in our satellite office. And one thing I want to share with Dennis is do some, refer some, do some, refer some.
Exactly.
Whether it's extractions, implants, pedo, but know what you're getting into. So on this journey, Carl, how does, let's say we take a dentist 2 years out of school, wants to do more surgery, someone who's 20 years out of school, realizes their oral surgeon can't fit people in, somebody just wants to start doing more. Tell us about some of these modules.
You know, we have both those groups in a single course. And at the end of it, you'd think that, you know, would be way over somebody's head and it would be too complicated, but our evals seem to be really good for both demographics. You know, we just start slowly, but we quickly get into more and more and more how to do the extraction without bone removal, how to prepare yourself to no more surgery. So if you want to do implants, you can do it. I was talking to one implantologist that teaches courses, and he says he interviews people. If they don't know how to do surgery, he doesn't want them in his course. Yep. I mean, I don't know if they're all like that, but certainly you're going to do a lot better. If that's one of your long-term goals is to do implants, you have to be good at surgical extraction.
I want to pause on that because it's so critical. I've been doing so many webinars on job finding, and they've been saying, how can I make myself more attractive as a candidate? I said, do stuff the owner doesn't do. They said, should I take an implant course? I said, not until you're comfortable extracting and doing socket preservation for two reasons. One, as a dentist, it's so much easier to get case acceptance on a $700 thing than a $4,000 thing. Secondly, the foundation of doing all implants is extraction knowledge. Extraction takes it out, implant puts it back in. So I think it's such a no-brainer to get training on that, because patients who need extractions, Carl, and you may see this, but I see this as a practice owner, they'll see anyone in the practice, right? They have a problem. It's not like I need Dr. Smith to do my crown because it's a sculpture, or Dr. Paul to do this overdenture. They'll say, oh, this person's available. So it's such a great opportunity. What courses do you guys have coming up right now?
Well, we just had one this last weekend that, you know, you had your representation at, which was cool. We really loved meeting him.
He's a great guy.
So we have another one. We actually are just deferring now till COVID's a little more over. We have webinars. Cool. We have our step-by-step webinars that are like an hour and a half that take like an upper molar and break it down in 90 minutes, exactly how to do it. And this, you know, these are the things to prevent from going wrong. But if something happens, this is what you do. So we have those going on right now, a lot of online things. But then we'll have a surgical extraction course in February, and we'll probably have it about every month after that. We have a third molar course as well. Also in January, late January, we have a patient treatment course. It's out of the country. We're hoping that in the end of January, we'll be able to do that. We think so, but who knows, right?
We're modeling the same stuff, Carl, you know, in person, live streamed, and also on demand. Take this time to watch a 90-minute webinar to help yourself and get yourself ready if you want to do a course overseas. What Carl has said, and I see it too, jumping steps is not good for the person taking the course, not the people delivering the course. If you go from no extraction to an overseas course, you miss some steps. So take the steps, the on-demand webinar. You can text Carl, K-A-R-L, to 55444. My team will drop in your link. If people want to reach out to you directly, Carl, how could they do that?
Well, you know, they certainly should go to our website at kernercenter.com. And, you know, I would just give them my email because I don't mind responding to people. And then that's my name, Carl R. Kerner. That's 2 Ks, fortunately not 3, but it's Carl with a K, R, Kerner, K-O-E-R-N-E-R at Comcast.net. I'd be glad to answer them or direct them to more information. Some of our Zoom courses that are excellent. So whatever they need, we'd like to help them.
We appreciate being an awesome sponsor, resource, and friend. You're helping dentists do better. You're helping their patients that you're never going to meet, like Dr. Dennis Tarnow says, which is just the best. And you're helping them be more productive in a patient-centered way. Thanks so much for that, Carl.
You bet.
Awesome. Well, we are going to have our finale to business and leadership toppings. We have the awesome Jamie from 1-800-Dentist who's going to come on and talk with us. I think one of the things I'm interested in learning about is 1-800-Dentist has been part of my dental brain since I've been a dentist. What is going on with 1-800-Dentist now, and what kind of programs do you have for our Nacho audience as a key resource and sponsor?
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for that introduction. That means a lot.
Oh, sure.
But just a quick intro. I work as part of the senior manager for enterprise sales. And, right now we have been busier than ever. And, what we do for dentists and what we're, constantly doing, we've been doing for the past 34 years. We help dentists and dental groups grow production by pre-screening and matching their practices with a steady flow of qualified new patient referrals. And a fun fact, we're the only referral service that live phone screens all patients, whether they visit our website or they call us, before we are matching them to a practice.
I imagine you might not be the phone answer right now, Jamie, but I imagine you get some unique questions coming at you from the whole general public about dentistry. And I think it's cool that you pre-screen them. What are some ways that helps the practice, having someone pre-screen them?
The benefit is with our solutions, aimed at maximizing production of chair time and ROI for, your practices, so that they don't miss an opportunity. Essentially, the benefit is 1-800-Dentist is doing all of that heavy lifting to ensure that our members only receive patient referrals that are a true match to your patient criteria, and hence giving the opportunity to the practice to convert these patients into long-term patients of record. Not to mention the fact that both the prospective patient and the dental practice are maximizing their time and getting what they want for consumers. That's, getting, answers for their immediate dental need, and for doctors and dentists, getting these patients in the door that are actually going to convert and show up.
And one of the things I think is so valuable as a dentist of 18 years, practicing over 15 years is, not every patient, type fits with every practice. And that's okay. Just like when I go out with my 2-year-old, I'm not going to go to a restaurant I go out with when it's just my wife and I. And that's just a great opportunity for practices to get the patients that they want to see. Some practices want to be doing crowns every 45 minutes. Other people want that. So I love that you guys have this screening tool. Now, I know you guys have an awesome Nacho deal, and I'm into, at any time, but especially this time, dentists moving forward with momentum. What is the offer you have for the dental nachos community if they would like to work with 1-800-Dentist, and how you can help them?
Sure. We are happy to sweeten the offer for all the Dental Nachos followers. And we would like to extend a 40% off of our membership for a full 2 months. So that's 40% off of 2 full months of our already low prices for all Dental Nachos followers.
I love that. I mean, you can text 1-800, text 1-800-215-543-6454. And that's such a great test, dentist. Do something for 2 months, see what's happening. I went to the gym for 2 months. They said, you're in perfect shape, never come back. I'm like, okay, if you insist. I'm just kidding. That was a lie, Jamie. But with you guys, I love that dentists, you don't have to sign up for an 18-month thing. So they can work with you guys for 2 months, get 40% off if they act by a certain time. How can they reach out to you directly, Jamie, if they have some other questions about the program?
Great. Yes, reach out to us directly. There's a few options to do that. You can reach out by going to marketing.1800dentist.com/nachos.
Awesome.
And you can also reach out via phone call at 855-231-2403, or you can reach out to me directly at jlopez@futuredontics.com.
Awesome. You did a great job. This is your first time on the show with me. I know there'll be other times for us to talk. No one ever gets tired of talking to me. Ask my wife, Mrs. Nacho. It's impossible. But is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience about 1-800-Dentist or the dental world right now before we jump off?
I really want to, cover just a pain point that I know a lot of dentists are worried about, and, that being no-shows. Yeah. And, we are great at that. And, some advice that I can give is, yes, absolutely schedule as many emergency and essential care patients that you can. Their show-up rate is incredible. And 1-800-Dentist can help you do that. We are the nation's largest clearinghouse for emergency patients and immediate need referrals and essential care patients looking for help. So we can help you do
I think
that.
that's a really great point because, you know, I think there's just this misconception that pandemics work like faucets. They're on and they're off. I think they just evolve as we're seeing now. And as a practice transitions broker, I've seen practices that have not reopened, not always for bad reasons, or just we retire. And there are all dentists moving out into patients that need help. And the emergency is their triggering point. So I think that's a really excellent point.
Awesome. We agree. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jamie. You can text 1-800-215-543-6454. An amazing show. Now we'll have our wrap up. If anyone's still here and they want to turn on their video, Amanda and Ariel, am I doing the thing where everyone can see me at once, or am I not working my computer properly like usual?
You're good, Paul.
I am okay. So anybody who's done it, perfect.
Yeah.
So
if their video is off, you can't see them.
Okay, cool. So a wrap up part is this. So people are people, patients are people, sponsors are people, we're all people, and learning new things is great. So we have this 60-minute show because I talk at like 3 times the speed of everybody else. Speaks longer show for else. At least you have that going for you, everybody. But what did you learn from someone else today that you found interesting, that you thought maybe one of your clients would like, or maybe just you found personally that you didn't know this existed? So it can't be about your company. You can share it, but then also share how people can contact you at your company. So I'll call on you to, all you have to think is what's an interesting fact, a cool thing about another sponsor here on the group. I'll start with Kimberly from PDS.
Hi, I love PDT. Those instruments are awesome, and I did not know that they were a family-owned company. So shout out to them, and I'll definitely be sending Dennis their way.
Awesome. I love that's the whole story part, and that is awesome. So now, Linda from PDT, we can ask you something unique you learned today.
Oh, wonderful. I loved Dr. Carl Corner's presentation because I think that's so great that you can have those online classes as well as the in-person classes now. And
amazing stuff. They're shipping the models to the people's offices. My associate did it. So now people can do it in the comfort of their own operatory. And our Dental Nachos Networking Extravaganza, I'm bringing in Link Harris from Australia. He's developing this too. And I ran a hands-on course in Philadelphia, which I love, but there are limitations of one instructor trying to always run around. So there can be something to be said that this technology we can use post-pandemic to get even better training because you can hold it up and do that. So I love that, Linda. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah. And thank you, Kimberly.
Awesome. I'm going to ask Sean from Soleo, Doug from Soleo. I'm sorry, Doug from Soleo. I don't see your name. Perfect. Doug, you're still there. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah. Doug from Soleo, share with us something you learned your first time on the show. I know it's the most fun you ever had in your whole life.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I had no idea 1-800-Dentist had been around as long as they had, and I didn't know they matched patients to practices. I'm intrigued by that idea. I think that's a great idea. I didn't know they did it.
Thanks so much for that. Yeah, pre-screening is so critical. I'll go with my friend Dan. You could mute yourself, Dan. I know that you're being polite, and then we forget.
You're right. It's just in my background noise here.
Yes, you're nice to do that.
And I will also go with Linda. First off, good to see you again, Linda. It's been quite a while, and I look forward to seeing you in person at some meeting along the way. But it was good to hear the thought about the cassette being a gift.
Right, yeah.
In the holiday season. What a wonderful idea.
I love that. Yeah, presentation and word choice is important. And I want to go back through, since you guys stayed for that, and say that for Kimberly Pedro, you can text CBCT to 55444. For Linda, you guys can tell me Linda's text code. It's Nacho Kit to 215-543-6454. For awesome Solea, we have text Solea to 55444, and we have text buying for Keatonbach to 55444. Stephen, how about you? This is your first experience in the nacho world. Was everything you dreamed of? What was something you learned during the day?
It was more than I dreamed of. It was great. I tell you, the PDT, just from an infection control standpoint, they looks like some pretty awesome products. I never really thought about the ergonomics of the tools, so that was kind of an eye opener. I also wanted to. Everybody was great, but just the marketing guy, I don't remember his name, but
Shane.
think that's pretty important stuff too, as far as kind of getting your word out there, and especially during times where people are kind of holed up more at their houses, just kind of having that marketing aspect.
And one of the things, since you're new here too, is that I like to always kind of highlight this. They tell dentists there's plenty of patience for them to succeed, and all dentists have. Same thing with companies and sponsors. The more we know about marketing and multiple opportunities, the better. The more we know about technology, the better. The more we know about making good decisions with adding things like lasers, the better. Even if there's multiple people doing it, I always say start running. It's not about Nike, Reebok, or Puma, or New Balance. That's my favorite, New Balance. But maybe New Balance can sponsor us. Can see if New Balance wants to reach out to us. But I'd say start running, and you're going to learn along the way, because you might switch running shoes. And you guys all know, as seasoned dental people, you go to a practice that was using one thing, and now they're using a whole different line, but you learned something at the first practice. So love that, Stephen. And Jamie, you did an awesome job on your first episode here. Would you want to share with us something you learned from someone else on the show?
Yes, as someone who works a lot with group practices and individual practices that are a part of purchasing groups, I think it's great. And I was excited to learn that Dan Perilli, apologize if I said that wrong, that there's no cost for practices to join. And I think that's great because I'm always looking of other ways to help out the practices that I work with.
I love that. That's such an important point. Why I kind of do everything that I do all the time. Like, I'm the guy in the street who hears someone over saying that they want to go to coffee, and I say, go to this place over here, go this here. Because when you just add value to someone's life, it just makes your life better, right? A good recommendation. You always remember that person. It comes back to help you in some way. It goes with the ABC, always be connecting. And that's just a perfect wrap up for this show. If you're watching this show, you ever want to be on this show, you can text Salsa to 215-543-6454. If you want to learn about any of our awesome key resources and sponsors that you saw today, you can reach out to us at dentalnachos.com or email salsa@dentalnachos.com. I want to thank all of you guys. As you might tell, it's one of my favorite things to do. So it would be weird if I just did it by myself. I do this by myself, by the way, too. But it's much more fun to have friends like you guys to talk to. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Amanda. You can take off Facebook Live. Cool. So we're awesome, guys. Now we're off Facebook Live. There might be some people hanging around. You guys were awesome. Everybody here was awesome. Amanda, Ariel, is there anything? I know we have some people watching in with us. Jill's watching it, and some dentists. We have our $75 prize you can add. And great. And my whole life has lived in front of Ariel, so you can speak freely. Jamie, was that okay for you for your first time being on the Business and Leadership Toppings?
Yes, it was fun. I apologize for my video being a little glitchy. So I did learn, a few things about all the different people on there. So
no worries about that. I'm always a fan of, it's always about the content. We also repurpose things for listening and things like that. So always, that's for everyone here. And Jamie, you did awesome. If you ever have your screen freeze or anything like that, still stay part of it, because we hear what you're saying. We get to see what you do. Awesome, guys. Sean, not Sean, I want to Doug, where are you based in the country?
I live in Indianapolis. Our headquarters is in Boston.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've really met some awesome, the speakers that you guys have brought have just been fantastic. Dr. Bowen Parody and Dr. Bullwinkle, they're just great guys. I've really enjoyed meeting them through this. And Kimberly, your people have been great. And Linda, you can have someone do a CE on TV through PDT this quarter. If you want to do one on hygiene, that's great. We've done some with Solea. We've done one with Kimberly, and that's been a fun way to share more in detail about what you do.
Oh, great. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Amanda and Ariel can help you with that. Well, people watch behind the scenes. This is Nachos behind the scenes. Everyone just eats nachos now and goes. Everyone likes behind the scenes. All right, awesome, guys. Well, Amanda and Ariel or Brandon, anything else we need to touch base on? Or are we okay to let them go back to their regular lives?
I think we're good.
All right, great. We'll get you guys all copies of the show. Dennis watching in, make sure you guys leave with your $75 prize. And to JFO, just find out about all this. Thanks so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.